Magnus Carlsen was drunk while he defeated this chess master. Magnus Carlsen, undoubtedly the best player in the field of chess at the moment, winning literally every game he plays no matter who he is against at. Magnus has an outstanding record on 125 continuous wins with 0 losses. But what happens when Magnus is up against a chess master? Wait, I mean what happens when a chess master is against drunk Magnus? Magnus just had 5 shots and goes on for a match being highly drunk. The chess master is Damien Ribière. He is not just another chess master. Damien Ribière is a French chess player and a grandmaster. He was awarded the title of International Master in 2002 and became a Grandmaster in 2016. Ribière has achieved many notable successes throughout his chess career. Ribière has also represented the French national team at various international tournaments, including the Chess Olympiad, where he played on the first board. Ribière is known for his creative and aggressive style of play. He is particularly adept at playing sharp and tactical positions, often sacrificing material to gain a strategic advantage. His games are often exciting and unpredictable, making him a popular player among chess fans. He didn't stop there. In addition to his playing career, Ribière is also a chess coach and author. He has written several books on chess strategy and tactics, including Mastering Chess Tactics and The Modern French Defense. Ribière has also coached several top French chess players, including Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who is currently one of the world's top-ranked players. Overall, Damien Ribière is a highly respected chess player and coach, known for his creative and aggressive playing style and his contributions to the chess community through his writing and coaching. Damien starts the game with e4, to which Magnus responds drunkenly with c5, the Sicilian defense. The Sicilian defense is a popular opening in the game of chess that is characterized by the moves e4, c5. It is one of the most aggressive and tactical defenses against White's opening move of e4, and it is named after the island of Sicily in Italy, where it is believed to have originated. The Sicilian defense aims to control the central squares on the board with a pawn on c5, which puts pressure on White's pawn on d4 and restricts the movement of White's pieces. Black often develops their knights to c6 and d7 and their bishop to e7, which creates a strong pawn structure and prepares for castling. Black may also advance their pawns on the queen side to create counterplay against White's pawn structure. In chess, the queen side refers to the half of the board that includes the queen's starting square, which is d1 for White and d8 for Black. The queen side is the left-hand side of the board from White's perspective and the right-hand side from Black's perspective. The queen side is often distinguished from the king side, which refers to the half of the board that includes the king's starting square, which is e1 for White and e8 for Black. The king side is the right-hand side of the board from White's perspective and the left-hand side from Black's perspective. In chess strategy, the queen side and king side can be used as reference points for developing a plan or making a positional evaluation. For example, a player might choose to focus their attack on the king side or queen side, depending on the position of their pieces and the weaknesses in their opponent's position. Similarly, a player might choose to castle on the king side or queen side, depending on the position of their pawns and pieces. Magnus was so drunk that he wasn't even able to move the pieces correctly. Magnus was supposed to mess up given that he was high and playing a limited time match. Obviously, Damien understood this. He moves his knight back to g1 to the better squares. Magnus chooses to attack Damien's bishop with his pawn and starts smiling, joking around being goofy. Damien moves his bishop away by 1 step, getting away from the attack. Magnus again goes for the attack by moving his pawn to f5, after which he takes a sit from his beer. Damien now develops his bishop to the a4, threatening Magnus's knight, and behind the knight is the rook. Magnus moves his rook to the middle, which makes Damien's bishop absolutely useless at that position. Damien develops his knight to e3, tricking Magnus into pushing his pawn deeper, allowing him to create a beautiful pawn series. Damien develops his knight and threatens Magnus's queen, only to get killed by Magnus's knight. Damien strikes it out with his bishop. While Magnus is throwing off laughs and all smiles at the table, his moves are already tensing Damien. Slowly, all of his pieces are getting closer to Damien's king. Damien still can win if he plays it correctly, although he is running out of time. After some moves, Damien strikes Magnus's bishop, which is recaptured immediately by the rook. Damien moves his pawn to d4, trying to cluster at the center. Here's an amazing part. While trading pawns, Magnus already predicted where Damien was going with this. He was going to threaten both of Magnus's rooks, but Magnus already found the outbreak. He goes for Damien's pawns. After one more trade of pawns, Damien decides to attack the queen directly with his rook. Looking at this threat, Magnus gives out a slow mutter towards Damien. Magnus immediately responds in a comeback way by checking Damien with his queen. Damien defends it with his rook, to which Magnus gives out a laugh. After this, Magnus does what literally nobody would do. He makes a mistake by moving his rook, threatening Damien's queen. Damien develops his queen to c3. At this point, all the advantage the Magnus had, he lost. Damien also threatens the pawn to check. Magnus shockingly allows Damien for it by making another blunder by striking Damien's knight, which also, by the way, is recaptured after the check by the rook. Previously, all pieces were coming close to Damien's king, but now all pieces are coming close to Magnus's king. The queens are being traded, and now it gets better as both of the players are on equal positions. But for Damien, this is as far he could get. Magnus is known to be the best endgame player till date in the world. But hang on, after Damien moves his rook from the threat, Magnus makes another mistake, moving his pawn to f3, which after bishop d5 is winning for Damien. This move threatens for a check towards Magnus's king, which is very scary. Keep in mind, Damien already predicted this, and when doing so, it leads to Magnus going for another blunder by moving his king to b8. This is a win-win situation for Damien, and if he plays his cards right, he could be the next title holder of the World Chess Champion. After checking the king, he takes a free pawn and threatening to take another. Magnus all of a sudden goes into Super Saiyan mode and develops a mind-blowing strategy to attack Damien's king, making Damien to now focus at that position first. Exactly in these positions are the moments where Magnus causes trouble for his opponents. Damien responds to the threat with g3. Magnus, having entered into Super Saiyan mode, immediately moves his rook to f8. All of a sudden, Magnus is becoming highly active, as if he has already planned the defeat. Magnus threatens to check Damien's king by moving his pawn to f2. Damien weirdly responds to this by moving his rook to s7, probably thinking to check Magnus's king. Magnus again immediately responds by bringing his rook besides his another one. Damien also brings his rook in front on Magnus's pawn. Magnus checks Damien and strikes down a pawn. Damien here had a chance to move his rook and check Magnus, but wait, he doesn't do that. Instead, he brings his rook to h1, and it was at this moment Magnus knew that in his mind he's already won.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Magnus starts his final moves by moving his knight to g4, making problems for Damien's kings. At this moment, he just had a little fun, because had it all figured out. He moves his rook, forcing Damien to move the king away and subtly promoting his pawn to a queen. What a mastermind. He completely destroys Damien after a well-competed match. After that, Magnus stands up, shakes hand, takes his beer, and walks away casually. Truly the god of chess. It is astonishing how big of a champion Magnus truly is. He defeated a grandmaster in a time-limited match while being extremely drunk. I think this is the utmost level of domination anyone can have in their field. It's always amazing to watch this guy amaze the entire world.